Stargate Atlantis took fans of the venerable science fiction franchise to a whole new galaxy. After successfully dialing an 8-chevron address to the lost city of the ancients, Dr. Elizabeth Weir and Major John Shepard led an expedition of scientists and explorers to the Pegasus galaxy. For 5 seasons, a brand new team went through the gate, making friends and enemies along the way. There are exactly 100 episodes of Atlantis. So which ones are the very best? Well, this one won't be a typical favorite episodes list. Instead of the top 5 episodes of all time, here we're going to run down the best single episode of each season, one per year for seasons 1 through 5, as voted on by fans. Just like its predecessor, Stargate Atlantis brought a mix of adventure, action, drama, and no shortage of humor. Premiering in the summer of 2004 as a spin-off of Stargate SG-1, the show made Stargate a bona fide franchise. Like any series, Atlantis took some time to find its footing, and to distinguish its unique voice from its parent show. Not every episode is going to make every fan's best of list, but each of the show's 5 seasons definitely has no shortage of beloved stories, from explosive space battles to more intimate character studies. After the show concluded its run in 2009, GateWorld conducted a series of fan polls, favorite episodes, best character moments, alien races, etc. Thousands of Stargate fans from all over the world voted on their #1 favorite episode for each individual season. Here are the winners. Season 1. After raising Atlantis to the ocean's surface, then waking up the Wraith, it was only a matter of time until the expedition had to defend the ancient city from its creator's greatest foe. The Wraith finally came calling in the 2-part season finale, The Siege. Part 1 is mostly setup, as the city makes preparations against an imminent attack. When Rodney leads a team to reactivate a dormant satellite weapon, it successfully takes out 1 Wraith hive ship. But Dr. Peter Grodin gives his life in the process, and 2 more hives are still on the way. Fans voted The Siege Part 2 as the best hour of Atlantis' first year. Can a handful of humans from Earth with few supplies and even less knowledge of the city's systems keep Atlantis from falling into enemy hands? It all came to a head in the epic first season finale. Stargate Command dials in with reinforcements from Earth, led by Colonel Dylan Everett, who sets up a series of powerful railguns aimed at the sky. While he and Shepard butt heads, Dr. Weir seeks help from the Janai, who she knows possess nuclear weapons technology. In the explosive final moments, Wraith darts strafe the city and ground troops engage with the enemy foot soldiers. The cliffhanger leaves pretty much everyone in mortal peril, as Lieutenant Ford is surrounded by Wraith, and Shepard is piloting a jumper armed with a nuke on a suicide run. Season 2. The Siege is such a big, important story to the fabric of Stargate Atlantis that it's no surprise what fans picked as the best episode of Season 2. The Siege Part 3 picks up in the following moments, resolving the cliffhanger and setting the stage for the new season. With Atlantis on the verge of defeat, the Earth battlecruiser Daedalus arrives with reinforcements, under the command of Colonel Stephen Caldwell. But the enemy also has its own reinforcements on the way. It's only a matter of time before the shooting starts again. In classic Stargate fashion, in the end, the enemy fleet is not overcome by the humans' military might or technological advancement, but by their ingenuity. Pretending to destroy the city rather than allow it to fall into the hands of the Wraith, Daedalus detonates an explosive above the shielded city, right as Atlantis engages its cloak. When the debris clears, Atlantis is gone, and the Wraith fleet breaks orbit. But the team also loses one of its own here. His system flooded by Wraith enzyme, Lieutenant Aiden Ford decides to leave Atlantis. He steals a puddle jumper and escapes through the Stargate, now set on taking the fight straight to the Wraith. Season 3. The 3rd season of Atlantis introduced the Asurans, a race who appeared to be very much like the Ancients, even living in a city that looked like Atlantis itself. But our hopeful new ally quickly turned into a terrifying foe when the Asurans were revealed to be human form replicators. Wronged by their creators millennia ago, they set their sights on capturing or destroying Atlantis in a final act of spite against the Ancients. Fans voted The Return, Part 2, as the best episode of Season 3. In this second half of the mid-season 2-parter, the expedition has evacuated home to Earth after the return of a crew of Ancients, the original Lanteans. But the Lanteans quickly fell to a replicator attack, leaving 2 Earth emissaries, Richard Woolsey and General Jack O'Neill, trapped behind enemy lines. Now, Weir, Shepard, McKay, and Beckett must steal a puddle jumper from Stargate Command to return to the Pegasus Galaxy. After reuniting with Teyla and Ronan, the team infiltrates Atlantis and must retake their home from the replicators. It's a terrific hour of adventure, made all the more fun by the performances of guest stars Richard D. Anderson and Robert Picardo. O'Neill even does a deep dive underwater as he makes his way through a flooded portion of the city to give the team access to the jumper bay. Season 4. The 4th year of Atlantis has some of the show's most exciting and original stories. The base had a new commander, as Amanda Tapping's newly promoted Colonel Samantha Carter crossed over to the Pegasus Galaxy. And with the war between Atlantis, the Wraith, and the Asurans reaching an explosive climax at mid-season, there was really never any doubt which episode would win here. The Atlantis expedition has forged an uneasy alliance with a faction of Wraith, led by Todd. Along with their new allies, the Travelers, and ships from Earth, the Daedalus and the Apollo, they finally turn the tide against the Replicators. The Allied forces make a final push to engage the enemy at their homeworld. It's the Battle of Asurus, and the episode is Be All My Sins Remembered. The epic payoff of the previous year and a half, this incredible hour brought a satisfying end to the long conflict. But there's more than just a big space battle and an exploding planet. This episode also has heart, and no shortage of ethical quandary from a surprising source. To put an end to the human form replicators once and for all, Rodney McKay creates Fran, a friendly android replicator who would be used to destroy her own kind. The episode has a fitting title, taken from Hamlet's famous to be or not to be soliloquy. Be All My Sins Remembered, a prayer for forgiveness. Season 5. The 5th season of Atlantis was never meant to be the show's last. As tensions with Todd and the other Wraith entered a new phase, the writers even introduced new antagonists and storylines. The biggest of these was a colony of rogue Asgard, who had been living in Pegasus for thousands of years, conducting experiments on humans to try and solve their species' cloning problem. But the best single episode of the season? It's actually not the big revelation of the Asgard's return, nor is it the big series finale in which Atlantis returns to Earth to defend it from a Wraith superhive. Instead, fans voted for a quiet little character piece from series co-creator Brad Wright. The Shrine is a heartbreaking story in which Rodney McKay contracts a pathogen that attacks his cognitive functions. Similar to Alzheimer's disease on Earth, what the people of the Pegasus Galaxy call the second childhood leaves Rodney in a childlike state after a matter of mere weeks. Through a series of video recordings, Rodney documents his own life slipping away from him, and his sister Jeannie travels from Earth to Atlantis to be with her brother as he slowly loses himself. With no known cure, Rodney's team prepares to say goodbye, taking him into Wraith-controlled territory to visit the fabled Shrine of Talos, where Rodney will be himself again for the final hours of his life. In spite of all of Season 5's action, explosions, and aliens, the Shrine is still the best hour of the year. And it shows what Atlantis can be at its very best. Not just action and special effects, not just alien creatures and quippy repartee, but a group of very different people who have become family. Atlantis is a team of men and women who won't just risk their lives to save the galaxy, they'll risk their lives to save each other. So what do you think of the list? Visit GateWorld.net to review SGA's season-by-season episode guide, and leave a comment below with your picks. Hit that subscribe button below to join the community. Next up, click on this video to see the fans' picks for the best episode from each season of Stargate SG-1.